Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milne coming to you for the DeKalb County Library. And a couple of years ago, we did a bracelet that I called Looney Links. And it was because we did all kinds of spirals and geometric shapes and little snaky squiggles. And we linked them all together to make just one of my favorite bracelets. And I am so sorry I didn't bring it down so that you could see. And I'm way too lazy to go back upstairs to get it. But I had said at the time we should make a necklace. And then it slipped by me. And for some reason, I completely forgot about it. Well, today is the day. We are going to make our necklace that will complement the bracelet that we made. It is super fun, I think. It's one of my favorite pieces to wear. It goes with anything. It's just all wire and chain. And well, actually, the bracelet's all wire. We're going to be doing wire and chain. And because I'm still in jump ring mode, we will be making our own chain. And we're just going to make a short chain. Well, I am. You can make yours longer if you want. I'm just going to make a short chain. And then we're going to make some shapes to dangle from the chain. I am really looking forward to this because this is something different. I don't think I've done dangled necklaces before, but what we're going to be using for this is square wire so that we can twist it and create some texture for our little dangles that we put on our handcrafted chain. So that's what we're going to be doing today. The only change probably in your usual components is going to be square wire instead of round wire. Now, that said, you can use round wire. You don't have to use square wire. You can use round wire for this as well. I'm using 20 gauge. You can use 20 gauge, 18 gauge, if you would like to do that. Um, I like the 20 gauge square because once you manipulate it and twist it up and things like that, it becomes very, very strong. And it's more on it's more like 18 gauge wire in strength because you've done so much manipulation with it. But so I'm using 20 gauge square wire. I'm going to use my usual tools, my round nose pliers. The barrels are round all the way around. They start larger at the bottom and taper up smaller towards the tip. Square pliers are slightly rounded on the outside, but they're completely flat on the inside. And when you're buying this in the store or ordering it online, make sure you get the pliers that have the completely flat inside. You don't want the ones that have those little grip things on the inside because they can damage your wire. The third thing that you need is a pair of wire cutters, and that's exactly what they do. They cut your wire. You'll need a ruler to measure out your wire, and you'll need jump rings. It depends on what size jump rings you want. The good size that I like to my go-to size is like 6 for the actual chain, 6 millimeters, and then a smaller size to link it together, either or 5 or 4 millimeter. And that's it. We'll need a lobster clasp. We're just going to use a lobster clasp to hook it together. And that's everything. So let's go ahead and get down here to the mat and get started. Okay, let's start with our chain. So we're going to put a chain together out of jump rings. So what we're going to do is use a larger size jump ring, and we're going to, oh, sorry, let me get down here where you can see what I'm doing. That's embarrassing. Okay, let me get this fixed up here. There we go. Sorry about that. So we're going to make our chain. So you'll need a larger size jump ring and a smaller size jump ring that will be used as your link. So what I'm going to do, let me grab a couple of these guys. What I would suggest that you do is open up several of your jump rings, the larger jump rings. We're going to open the larger ones and then link it together with the smaller ones. So let's go ahead and get that, get these closed back up so I can show you how to do that. So what is the proper way to open up a jump ring? You're going to take a pair of pliers and a second pair of pliers. This is my way of doing it. Two pairs of pliers in order to open the nut up, or one pair of pliers and your fingers. Or if it's big enough and you're strong enough, you can just twist it open with your fingers. But the best way to open it is to twist, not pull it apart. Because once you've pulled it apart, it's really, really difficult to get that closed again. So your best bet is to take one pair of pliers and put it on one side of the opening. There's my little opening there. Take a second pair of pliers and put it on the other side of the opening and twist. Just twist it open, just like that. So now I have a nice open jump ring. So now I'm going to add 4 small jump rings because I'm going to double up on my links. I like to have 2 jump rings linking each of my actual chain links for security and because I think it looks better. So I put on 4 small jump rings and I'm going to close that larger jump ring. Then I'm going to grab a second larger jump ring. It's already open for me. I would suggest that you open several of the large jump rings, then you don't have to open, put down your pliers, grab more of them, open, that sort of thing. So open up several of these. Got a couple of them open. Open up several of your large jump rings because you may not know exactly how many you need, and you can open some more later. But this way, you don't have to keep putting your pliers down and picking them back up. You'll have a bunch of them already open. So I have 4 small jump rings on my larger ring. And I'm going to separate them so that I have 2 together. And I'm going to slide my second large jump ring over those 2 smaller ones and close. Then I'm going to go to the other side and grab these other 2 small jump rings. I'm going to slide that on. Actually, let me grab another one because I want to show you some easy ways to put these together. Grab a couple more. Open that up. Okay, so I have 2 small jump rings on there. I'm going to slide my large jump ring over the 2 small ones, or into the 2 small ones. The 2 small ones go into the large one. Then I'm going to add 2 small ones. They're open. I need to close them. Close those up. And one thing that you want to make sure of with your jump rings is that these little tips are meeting. You don't want them overlapping. You don't want them one behind the other. You want them both meeting together. Just the tips should be meeting each other, just touching. Okay, so now I've got my large jump ring in the 2 small jump rings, and I'm going to add 2 more small jump rings and close my large jump ring. Then I'm going to flip that down so that those 2 jump rings are dangling at the bottom. Grab another open large jump ring and slide it into those 2 jump rings. And that's how you're going to make your chain. Let's add a couple more of these little ones that are open, and I have to reclose them. I opened a bunch of those up so I could attach my little dangles. And I need them closed for my chain. Okay. Matter of fact, I think that's probably more than I need. I'm going to take this one off because I'm going to add it to the rest of my chain that I've already done. Put that over there. Here's the rest of my chain. This is what it's going to look like. Pretty neat. So I'm going to go ahead and add this large one to these two small ones that are on the end. Turn that around. There we go. Yeah. And there's my chain. And there's our chain. So this is what your chain is going to look like when you get everything put together. Very, very simple. Just two small jump rings attaching your larger jump rings, and that will make your chain. Easy peasy. Okay, so let's put that to the side and get to the really fun part, which is making our little dangles. So what we're going to use for that is our 20 gauge square wire. Now you can use it exactly like this if you want to. You don't even have to twist it. I'm sorry about all the shadow. I have a very gray day today. And I wanted to get this done. And then tomorrow's going to be cloudy. The next day is going to be cloudy. So I don't have my usual light that's kind of buffering against the other light that I have on this side. That side over there. I usually have a window over there that's pouring some nice light in and it kind of keeps the shadows away, but I don't have that today. So it's going to be a little shadowy. Sorry about that. Anyway, I have a piece of 20 gauge square wire and it's you only need about 4 to 5 inches for your little dangles, depending on how big you want them to be. I've got about a little over 4 inches here. Oops, this side. A little over 4 inches. Yeah. And I'm going to twist it, which is going to take it down just a smidge smaller. So how you twist it is you'll grab it with one plier. And what you can do is hold on to it with your round pliers on one end. You can put a little bend in the wire in order to be able to hold it. Or if you have a second pair of square pliers, you can just hold on to it with that second pair of square pliers and twist it with the other pair. So I'm just going to twist, keep twisting. Get a good grip. And I like to start down close to the other pliers to start my twist. It's going to take a minute. And just keep twisting and twisting and twisting. Until you start to see the little texture forming from the twists. So now I can see the difference between that and this. And then what I do when I have it twisted as much as I want down here, I start moving down the wire and continue the twist. And make sure that you have a good hold on it with this plier because you don't want it to start spiraling around. You want to make sure it's held in a good grip. And just twist until it looks the way you want it to look. And I like to move down the wire because if I try to do it way down here, it's kind of hard to get the twist the way I want it to be. So I'm holding with one and twisting with the other. Move up a little bit, give it some more twists. Keep moving, a few more twists. And like I said, it's going to take a minute, but it's worth it in the end. And again, you don't have to twist it. If you don't want to twist it, just use it the way it is. And if you don't have square wire, round wire works for this just as nicely. This is just a little extra step that I'm taking just to give it a little bit more interest. It'll give a little more interest to my pieces. And you can see what I mean about how it's going to work hard in this because I am working the heck out of it. So there it is, my nice twisted up wire. It's got a lot of texture now. So what I'm going to do, I don't really have to worry about straightening it out too much, but just to show you the difference between that and this straight wire piece. So this is what it looks like just plain, and this is what it looks like textured. See the difference? Aha. So now let's see what I have left now that I've twisted it. So now I still have almost 4 1/4. So it didn't really take too much away from it with the twisting. But let's go ahead, get that out of my way, and let's go ahead and make some shapes. Okay, what do I want to do here? Let's start with a standard spiral. Let's just make a nice little spiral. So I'm going to grab my round pliers and I'm going to grab the tip of my wire with the tip of my pliers right down here at the tip. I'm going to pull the wire back so that it's not sticking out on this side. And I'm going to make a small loop. Just rotate till I have a little loop. Let's get that a little here. Yeah. Okay, so I have a little loop and I'm going to continue to wrap. And somebody said, how do you get this to not coil? See how this is kind of popped up here and starting to coil a little bit. I'm going to grab my square pliers and just squeeze it down. And go back to my round pliers. Continue to make a little spiral. And I'm making an open spiral. Open because the wires aren't touching. So I'm going to go as far as I can with my round pliers until I can't go any further because they're bumping into each other. And then I'm going to switch to my square pliers and I'm going to continue my spiral. And just make your spiral until it's the size that you want. You want to give yourself, because I'm making a dangle, I want to make sure I have about an inch or so on the end for my loop and so that it has space to hang. So I'm going to keep wrapping this, kind of adjust it the way I want it to look as I go. This is very organic, so you can make it look any way you want. Okay, that looks good. Oh, that's neat. It's got some little corners on it. I like that. I'll leave it like that. Okay, so now I've got about a good inch sticking out here from the end of this last little side. Got about an inch, so that'll be enough for me to hang it from my necklace. Yeah. So now I'm going to make a loop right here on the end. So right here at the very end here, I'm going to make a small loop. So I'm going to slide my wire down about 1/4 of an inch from the tip of my pliers. Check and make sure that's not sticking out. And I'm going to make a little loop. If I can grab it, come on. And here's my little spiral. I'm going to go in the opposite direction of my spiral. And just wrap that around until I have a loop. There we go. Now I'm going to shape this a little bit so it's not just hanging like that straight. I'm going to give this a little bit of a curve. Just shape that with my fingers. Give it a little curve here, little curvature. And make that look the way you want it to look. There we go. My little tip is over here on the side, so let's push that until I want my little tip to meet up with the rest of the wire and not hang over the side. So there's one of my little dangles. And if you wanted that to be a little bit further over, you can do that. Make that a little sharper. It's entirely up to you how you want it to hang. So there's one of my little dangles. Let's grab another piece of wire. Now, I twisted a very long piece of wire because I didn't want to sit here and do that and bore you to death. So I've got a nice long piece of wire. Again, give yourself a good 4 or 5 inches of wire, and then you can decide how big or how small you want your little uh, dangles to be. It's entirely up to you. Let's make another one. I think I'm going to make one that's a little more squared off and geometric. So I'm going to grab my square pliers. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to make a square spiral. So right here at the tip of my square pliers, I'm going to put my wire in. It's right there at the tip. Again, check, make sure that tip's not sticking out this side. And then I'm going to put a sharp bend in there. So that's what I have. Just a sharp bend. Yeah. So now I'm going to make another bend. I'm going to go right here under that first bend. And I'm going to make another one. Yeah. Yeah. And let's make another bend. So now I have a little square. Yes. So there's going to be the center. So I'm going to go right beside that first bend that I put in. I'm going to go right beside it with my pliers. I'm going to put another bend in, just like that. Yes. So now I'm going to show you how to make these bends nice and sharp. This is fine, but if I want it to be a really, instead of curved around, if I want it to be a really sharp bend, I'm going to take the flat of my pliers and put it against the flat of the wire, like so, right until just the tip of that wire is in between the pliers. And then I'm going to bend the wire down and across. And now I have a very sharp bend on the side here. I'm going to do that again. Right here, right over the spiraled wire that I've just done. I'm going to bend it straight down and across. And now I have a nice, oh, what did I do? Virginia, I was a little too aggressive and I broke it. No! So I need to go back and rebend. That's okay. Yeah. That's the first time that's ever happened. Got a little too aggressive there. Okay, so I'm going to bend down and across. Again, take it down and across. And I'm going to keep doing this until I have it the size that I want. Now, again, that was the first time I've ever broken a piece of this wire, but it's probably because it's so overworked. And you have to be careful about really overworking your wire because that can happen. But then you just do what I just did. Take the little piece off that broke and keep on going. Oh, isn't that neat? Let's do one more. Looks like something out of the Twilight Zone. Oh, I like it. That's pretty neat. It's very 3D-ish. I like that. What do you think about that? Yeah, I think I'm going to stop there. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop there and I'm going to put my little loop over here. Yeah, so I'm going to cut this off about an inch from this last border, this side here. Cut it off about an inch away. There. And now I'm going to make a loop. So once again, I'm going to make my loop in the opposite direction of my spiral. Here's my spiral. Loop is going to go that way. I'm going to grab my round nose pliers right there on the tip of my pliers with the tip of my wire and make my loop. There. And that's going to hang make it a little just as a little further over. I'm going to put a little curve in it just because. There. And it'll hang just like that, just like this one. And they can be all different sizes. Okay, let's keep going. Let's do another one. Let's do a squiggle. All right. So I'm going to go down about an inch from the tip, grab my round nose pliers, all the way back here towards the very back of the pliers. I'm going to take this short side and I'm going to bend it all the way around until it's touching the long wire. Just bend it all the way around. And I want a good curve in it. So I'm going to take it past the long wire and then scoot it back over. And then the long one, I'm going to go in the opposite direction over on the other side. Bring that all the way around. Oh, it's bumping into my camera. So this is what I have. Nice little squiggle. You can see that coming along. Nice little squiggle. Now, without opening this up, because if I do, I'm going to pull my wire apart. I'm just going to separate the pliers just a little bit and slide that off. And this is what I have. Cute. Yeah, nice. So I think I'm going to make another squiggle on this side. This is going to be the side that I hang it. So I'm going to go to this side. And make another little squiggly part. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this long tail around until it touches the one beside it. Yeah. And I like to bring it over and then bring it back so I have a nice curvature there. Here we go. Ooh, let's make another one. So I've got two small ones. I'm going to make a couple of large ones. Let's go with that. So I'm going to go over here to the side, right beside my last one, my last little curve there, all the way back to the back of my pliers. And I'm going to bring this over and across like so, and then back. Ah, neat. Okay, so now what do I want to do? Well, now I'm going to finish it off, I think, with a little spiral. So I'm going to cut this off about an inch away from my this little loop here, this little half loop. Let's cut that off. Put that to the side. We're going to use you later. And let's make a little spiral down here. So I'm going to grab on the long side, I'm going to grab the tip with the tip of my round pliers. Make sure that's not sticking out. Get that back there. And then I'm going to make a loop. Just like I did on the first one. So there's my little loop, and I'm going to continue to loop it around until I have a little spiral. And just give it another little curve here. Awesome. There it is. And now I'm going to go ahead and make my little loop at the top that I'm going to use to hang it from my chain. So grab my pliers, slide that down about a quarter of an inch from the tip of my pliers, and make my little loop. There it is. I'm going to bring it up just a little bit. Give it a little curve up. Ha ha! Look at that. Isn't that neat? Let's make another one. What do I want to do now? So much fun. Let me see. Do I want to do another square one? Yeah, you know what? Why not? Let's do another little square. Got my wire here. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. Okay, yeah, let's make a little square. Just a little one. Okay, same way I did the other one. Make a little square here. I'm going to do my bend down and across. Down and across. Down and across. Let's do one more of those. Down and across. And now what if I make a little squiggle like I did this one, except it would be square and maybe a little smaller. I think I'll do one more. Yeah. And let's make a little squiggle, just a little one. So I'm going to go back to the back, my pliers right here beside the little frame. There we go. Let's make one little squiggle. And another little squiggle. And let's shape it the way I want it. Let's get this a little more round. Should I do one more up there? Yeah, let's go one more. Take it to the top. There we go. Yeah, I'll move this over a little bit. Make my little loop on top here. So let's cut that off on the side. Just one little piece left. And let's make a little loop. Slide that down about 1/4 of an inch from the tip. Make sure that's not sticking out, that little tip's not sticking out. I don't want the tip of my wire sticking out because I want it to be a nice round loop. And let's make my little loop. There. And I'm gonna bend it up, give it a little bend. And there it is. And now you can just adjust it the way you want it to look, because I want that to go a little bit further down and just have a little more of a curvature on the top here. So I'm gonna, there we go. Use my pliers, flatten it out. Yes. So let me bring out all the others I've already made. Isn't that neat? And we're just going to hang them from our chain. Isn't that awesome? Okay, let's do this. Let's go ahead and hang them. Let's hang them, hang them, hang them. Okay. So again, you take your little 4 or 5 inches of wire and just play with it. I just wanted something that was fun, not a lot of specific things that you have to do, because I want you to use your own artistic abilities to create what you want it to be, so that it doesn't look like anybody else's. I want it to be yours. So let's go ahead and get this attached. So my chain, I wanted my chain to be a little shorter because I want it to be right up at the neck. But what I want to do is find my center. Okay, and then hang from there. Okay, so here's my center one. Which one do I want in the middle? That's the question. I'm going to do this one. And what I'm going to do is dangle it, use these little tiny jump rings to dangle it. I've got a bunch of them open already, so I don't have to deal with that. Let's go ahead and grab a jump ring, slide on one of my little dangles, and slide that into one of my large jump rings on the chain and close it up. The biggest thing you want to do is make sure that those little tips are meeting. Here's one. And then you want to decide how far apart you want your dangles to be. You don't want to go too far up the side of your necklace because it won't hang right. You want them to hang pretty. So I think I'm going to do every third, every third ring should do it. Okay. Straight. All right. So I've got one every two rings. Let's see what that looks like. Every second one. Two, 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 two. Now I have this little baby one. Yeah, I think that looks good because that part that goes around the back of my neck, I don't want it to have these on it. Let me see what it would look like if I do every third one. So that's 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That might work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 5. Yes. Yeah, that looks like it'll work. I'm going to do it every third ring on mine. And you can do it closer together if you want, further apart if you want. It's entirely up to you. So let's grab some of these little teeny tiny jump rings and let's put this on. So 1, 2, third one. 1, 2, 3. Put that up. Check those tips. Kind of wiggle them until they're touching each other. Okay, let's grab another one. Well, this one there, I think I'll put this one over there. This one here. 1, 2, 3. Those tips together. Yes. I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of these on so you don't have to sit here and watch me do this because it's boring. 1, 2, 3. So that's going to go there. And I will be right back to show you the rest. So here it is. Here's my little geometric necklace. Oh, well, my little necklace with the little geometric shapes and swirls and spirals. So now all we need to do is connect it. And for that, we're just going to grab a little lobster clasp and one of our little jump rings, and we're going to put it together. So pliers and one of my jump rings that just went flying. Okay. Grab my lobster clasp, put it on, and then also grab one of the ends, one loop at one end of my necklace and string that on my jump ring and the beauty of making a chain out of jump rings is that now all I need to do is fasten this in that last little jump ring that's there. And there's my necklace. Isn't that neat? I love it. So let's go ahead and try it on a form and see what it. And you can do as many or as few of these as you like. You can put them closer together if you want to. You know, I don't know if you remember that little teeny tiny piece. It was about an inch and a half that I had left. I just made a little tiny one and put it on with this one over here. I just hung them both together. So you can double up on them if you want to. It's entirely up to you how you do it. Let's put it on a form and see what we have. Okay, there it is. Here's our necklace. Oh, I'm so glad I did this. I really, really love it. And again, you can fill this in as much as you want. I'm going to give you a couple of yards of wire so that you have, those of you who get kits, so that you have plenty, plenty to play around with. And you can make quite a few of these. Again, you only need about 4 or 5 inches of wire in order to do each one of them. If you use 5, 9, 10, 15, 20, 25. You could do 14, 15 of these, even more if you only use 4 inches of wire. But you can really fill this up as much as you want with what you're going to get to work with. So that is our piece for today. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed making it, and I am going to enjoy wearing it with my bracelet. Oh, we should do some earrings, but anyway, we're getting a little crazy here. And that's the fun of these things. When you do something that's really, really a little, just a tiny bit avant-garde and just a lot of fun. And this is a lot of fun. We've made our own chain, we've made our own dangles, everything about this, with the exception of our little lobster clasp, is handmade. And we could have handmade that too if I thought about it. But I hope that you will make one of these. And I would love to see what you do with it. I started to add some beads, but I decided to keep it nice and clean with just the wire shapes, and we can do beads another time. But I want to hear what you think about this, what you thought about this, and if this is something that you would like to see similar things more of later down the line. I'm not sure what else we could do with this, but man, this is fun. Get in touch with me and let me know what you think. I'm putting my head over this so you can get an idea of what it would look like on me. Get in touch with me at jewelrygen20@gmail.com and let me know how you feel about this and what you think about it and what you would think about future projects. And also let me know what you want to see. I love, love, love hearing about what the things that you would like. But let me know what you'd like to see, and maybe we can do some of that down the road. Jewelrygen20@gmail.com. That's JEWELRYGIN20@gmail.com. You can leave pictures and comments on the DeKalb County Library Facebook page, along with the post that we have for this particular tutorial. That would be facebook.com/DeKalb Library. That's facebook.com/DEKALB. Libray, or you can leave comments on the library YouTube page. That's youtube.com/DeKalb County Public Library. You have to write out the whole thing. That's DeKalbCountYPublic And I hope to hear from you one way or the other, and you let me know what you thought. I like critiques. I like to know what I can do better, and I like to know what you like. So until next time, I will hope that you have a great weekend and a great week, and I will see you later. Bye bye.